Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the fresh edition of 3AI AI Makers Unpacked. And This is a session which is special. When I say special, because as a part of our 3I AI Makers Unpacked podcast series, we have uncovered and unraveled what I call the professional facets and dimensions of the leaders who have created a significant impact in the AI analytics industry. Most of our leaders whom we have covered in the past have either been from the corporates, GCCs, startup, boutique firms, but today our guest is special. Special because not only has traversed something what I call the grind of kind of running a startup and been through the corporate, but what he's embarking upon is something which will shape up how AI will be there in the India. And we have Rahul with us, who's the CEO of AI Center of Excellence at T Hub, Hyderabad. And Rahul brings to the table an immense experience in terms of how today AI could actually solve large, complex, unresolved problem for India. But that's not the only thing we will unravel. Within the facet of the conversation, we will really kind of unpeel a lot of what we call the professional facets of Rahul as well. Welcome, Rahul, to AI Makers Unpacked session.
Sure. Thanks, Amit, and thanks to 3i team for having me in this session. And would love to share my experience, my thoughts, and would love to learn from you also about like what 3i is doing in the field of AI and how we can together make India the AI place for the world.
Awesome. Rahul, for the uninitiated, let's start with a brief understanding about your professional journey. Who is Rahul Path?
So I don't have a very special profile or something. Very standard Indian profile. Did engineering, went to B school, worked with corporates for almost more than a decade. Lived in India, outside India for a couple of years here and there. And then my first stint with startup started back in 2011, 12, and that point of time. And that was like for a short duration. And after that, I left my corporate job in 2016 mid, and after that, like we built one company in 2017, and then in 2019 another one, and these were both into healthcare and AI and those areas. So we were building products, solutions, and different kind of platforms using AI. In the radiology, in healthcare, telemedicine, teleradiology, in these multiple areas. That's how my journey with AI also started. 6, 7 years back, like actively, I started working as an entrepreneur, building my own businesses. And currently, what I'm doing is that I'm heading this Center of Excellence within T Hub, which is supported by TST, for supporting AI entrepreneurs to provide them the ecosystem, the digital infrastructure that they need to build AI product from India for India at a sustainable and more affordable manner.
Great. So let me jump straight to the point, which is coming from your professional summary. Is your entry into AI analytics side is by default or by design?
No, it was by design because see the way I moved into AI was like I started my career by chance into healthcare. I have been a mechanical engineer, but college placement happened in a way that I got into a healthcare project. So that was by chance. I didn't choose it. But afterwards, my next couple of jobs in corporate and all these things, I started liking healthcare. I stayed in healthcare, and after spending almost like a decade or more in healthcare, I realized that AI can have a lot more impact for a wider audience or for a larger audience, and that is the future. So that was a thought. And then when I started building my own venture, my thought was very clear that if I'm building something, I'm building something for the future, and there it should AI should be one part of it, and we should use AI along with that. Although given and said, the problems also that we were solving. The moment we used AI in that, the solution was at a different level. So it is not just forceful adoption was AI, but also it demanded the problems that we were solving. It demanded use of predictive analytics, AI tools, AI models, and those things. So definitely that was conscious, but also the problem statements that we identified, they were also demanding. And the way we were looking at it from a futuristic perspective, from a mass impact perspective, that's where AI came into picture. And I think it did wonders for us, for the startups that we built. It impacted us greatly, and the team, everyone enjoyed working on the projects that we did.
So, going back, if you have to reflect upon, and this could be crucial for our audience,
Right,
you've worked in both corporates and you've worked in startup as well.
right.
Tell us from the core of your heart, what's the difference? Brutal difference.
Okay, just corporate and startup difference, if you ask me.
Absolutely, in terms of operating rhythm, in terms of how you see things getting executed, and any other thing which you believe have been very, very uh, starkingly different in terms of these two segments.
The one difference, I will say, although my roles were a bit different, because when I was working in a corporate, I was at a lower management or a middle management kind of position, right? So basically, like a typical employee, I was working there. In startups, I was mostly the founder or the key stakeholder there. So that itself is a major difference. The ownership is high, and the revenue pressure is always high. So you have to look for the P&L, you have to look for sales revenue, irrespective of the product you are building. That pressure is given. Whether the money, how you get the money on the table, whether it is from investor, from customer, or different stakeholder. So that's a different pressure altogether, which
So,
was
does
not.
that also bring a personality change as a standalone kind of a, let's say, professional in you when you work in a startup?
Yes, definitely. That changed me quite a bit. That affected me and my friends, family, and everyone. Even I realized that, and everybody also mentioned. So that made me more matured, I will say for sure. Right? Because earlier, like when we were working in certain projects, although we were having certain responsibilities, ownership in corporate, the work-wise difference is no more there. I didn't realize that, because in corporate also we were working for 10 12 hours, in startup also we are working for 10 12 hours. So the
Right.
hard work, if some people say that in startup you have to work more or something, I never felt that, because the probably the kind of environments I worked in, the work wise effort was same, but the pressure is very different. Here you are chasing a product and all these things. You don't have to worry about your month end salary. In startup, it is not just your salary. You have to worry about the investors return. You have to worry about 100 people salary. The pressure is very different. The financial,
There is no payday.
right? So and so most
You
of the time,
decide your own pay.
and most of you don't get time to think about your own salary, right? So
True.
sometimes you feel, even if I'm not getting the salary, still it's okay, but the team should get the salary on time and all this thing. So the financial pressure that makes you more responsible when you take the decision. So that's a different angle and a different learning for me as an entrepreneur or as an individual, I will say. The moment I got that responsibility or experience, the way of looking at problems, the way of doing things, uh, definitely I got a very different angle of working at it. And even in corporate also, I worked in sales, I worked in P&L and those kind of roles. There also the pressure was there always to reach the targets, get the numbers and those things. But still, like when you're doing it on your own, and the pressure is, I will say, like 10x more on the numbers and the balance sheet. So bottom line, top line, by heart, like what you have to do. So you make decisions in a very different way, I will say. I will not say in a more rational way, because there also, obviously, in corporate also you make rational way, but a different thought process comes, different angle comes. You look at it from a very different thing, as if like your own money is going, obviously, so you make all the decisions in that way. So you appreciate speed, efficiency, and those things much more, because time is money. And these kind of small organizations, like these kind of responsibilities, obviously, as an entrepreneur, as an individual, has impacted me a lot, and that's a great learning for me, I will say.
Awesome. So, along the same lines, Rahul, you've seen this journey of data, AI, analytics, data science, and I use these nomenclatures because we've seen those different nomenclatures across the years. 10 years back, what was the state of analytics? And from 10 years from now, or rather, not take let's not take the peek into the future, but 10 years back, How did you think this whole space of analytics, data science evolved? And did you also anticipate in your own sphere of, I would say, thinking that it will really explode what's happening today in form of a Gen AI?
Yes, see, 10 years back, also, we were talking about big data and a lot of other things. So,
Correct.
the discussions were always there, the applications were always there, people were always trying to do things. But probably the application and the usage of data was not to an extent what it is today. So, today it is multifold. Like, people were aware that point of time also that data is the next oil, and those kind of statements were coming even 10 years back or 15 years back, and everybody was understanding the value of it, be it market research, be it predictive analytics. Those things were always there, right? But the way you are using the data, the way people are using the data to predict the things, the way people are using data to build solution, uh, it was at a primitive stage or at an early stage, I will say 10 years back, or at a stage where compared to that, now it is at a much more evolved stage. We have more refined solution mechanisms and means to extract information out of the data. So that kind of maturity, technology wise, experience wise, and even people have realized and gained that experience of playing with the data and coming out with meaningful outcomes, thanks to all the tools and means and mediums that has also evolved during this journey. So obviously, because of which, what has happened is that people were realizing 10 years back that yes, data is important. Today they are making use of it. Today they are making the impact of it. Today they are experiencing the impact. So today people are not predicting that data will be the big thing 10 years from now. Everybody realizes that now they are using it. So that is a huge transition that has happened in last 10 years, and more than 10 years, I will say. This jump has happened in last 5 to 6 years. So in 5 to 6 years, this transition has been like uh, multifold, I will say. Like, it has a phenomenal growth we have seen in terms of all the technological aspects or the way the different tools are getting used. Again, you said and done. In next 5 years, I think this discussion will not be there, that how important data is, because after 5 years it will be like done and dusted kind of thing. So everybody will know that yes, data is important, and based on that, but then a more refined version of tools we will get, which are working based on data, which are working based on information. And then, like what we are talking about, Gen AI, Chat GPT, and these kind of OpenAI stuffs today. 5 years from now, we will have multiple such models, LLMs in real life, that we will use, and they will become part of the life. So what? So that is how I'm looking at this transition in last 5 years and going
Interestingly,
forward.
what you said, yeah, 5 years from now, maybe the thing could be if you're recording this session 5 years from now, our Gen AI clones may be recording the sessions on its own, and both of us maybe are sitting in Hyderabad and having a drink at the bar. Maybe that's a scenario which could evolve.
Absolutely.
But rightly said. So one of the aspects, Rahul, what you rightly said, which has evolved over the period of time in analytics AI, is this ability for AI or analytics to influence decision making in the business functions, decision making in the strategy, in the processes, in the overall operational rhythm of the enterprise. Now, with that, suddenly we see this whole aspect of Gen AI coming in with OpenAI launching ChatGPT, where suddenly this whole aspect of democratization in terms of the ease of use is now in the hands of the users.
Right.
Now, with that, do you think the pace of the adoption and the acceleration in terms of how AI, Gen AI will really perform that what I call really the art of decision making or the art of problem solving to the next level? Do you think this will go a few notches up, or you still believe this is this will go through some hoops and then it will take a different curve? What's your opinion around that?
No, see, the thing is that definitely democratization of this kind of models will help us to move faster
Correct.
in the learning curve, or adoption curve, if you say that. But it will definitely face certain hoops and stages. Like, you must have heard, like recently, Meteor has released certain regulations or advisory on how to use LLMs by big corporates. So that kind of advisories will keep coming, because even for everyone it is a new learning. Everybody is trying to understand that how these animals will behave, what will be their behavior, will they impact us positively only, or what will be the negative impact. So there will be a adoption curve, there will be a learning curve for everyone, and the sooner it happens, the better it is for everyone. And I think that this kind of democratization just helps us to make it sooner and faster. Because if these kind of development just keeps happening in some lab, in some research paper with few selected people, or within some AI innovation labs within some corporate setup, it will take ages for the adoption to happen. Such
Correct.
kind of organizations, such kind of startups, such kind of people make adoption much faster. Just imagine, like, I will tell you my personal experience, which is
Mhm.
different from just AI. 17 started a company which was in telemedicine, and 16, I still remember I used to go to doctors, corporates, and different people for selling the subscription model, and people used to ask me like, "Do you think it will work? Does it work?" And doctors were questioning like the authenticity and all these things. Like, I can't treat a patient without touching him, and all these things were coming up. Suddenly, because of COVID and all these things, whatever happened, we are all aware of it. Obviously, during COVID, whatever the usage was there, it is not there today. But still, compared to 2019, if you see it in 2024, the adoption has gone enormously. So, today at least everybody knows about telemedicine. Today, people don't question like, can I consult with the doctor digitally or not? If it is
Mm.
required, people do take that thing. So, and that push because of COVID, unfortunate event, but that push came. Similarly, in AI and OpenAI and this kind of Gen AI models also, I think this transition will happen much faster. And when these transitions happen, the adoption, because of this adoption, democratization, and all these things, the problems will be solved very soon. Whatever apprehensions people are having, they will get it resolved very soon, because we will get to see the negative cases also very quickly. We'll see like can go wrong. When right now we are talking about deep fake, hallucination, and all these things. So those things we will experience is much faster, and those things are required sometimes, because to understand like where all it can go wrong, what all things it can do wrong. So once we experience those things faster, I think things will mature. So it's like a journey, it's like a baby. If baby a child or a kid need to experience his life before he becomes matured, right? He just by passing the years, not necessarily that he will become mature. If he experiences someone things very quickly, he gets that maturity. Same thing with technology. If this kind of models, they experience the ups and downs, the criticism, the positive things very soon in their life cycle, the maturity will also come very soon. And then the next step, I'm more excited about not just this Gen AI. I'm excited about like what all this can do. So
Mm.
once this becomes the
Art
part,
of possible, essentially, right?
right? So today we are all excited about Gen AI, ChatGPT, and all these things. My excitement is that in a year or 2 year, when it becomes a norm, like every kid is using in his school assignment, every office person is using probably for his projects, or developers are using for writing codes and all these things, it becomes a part of their life. After that, what all great things are the possibility, that is where the excitement lies. Because that is something many people are not even thinking about it, because there the opportunity is, we can't even imagine what all can be done. So today we were looking at like a couple of, and thanks to my this role, that I get to see a lot of innovations every day. And we are seeing like startups working on summarizing the legal cases of India and their hearings and all these things, which
So, which
actually,
is there, Rahul? I want to chime in, and this is
yeah.
pertinent. And essentially, that chiming in is kind of linked to what I want you to explain as well. Now, coming to this whole aspect of establishing AI supremacy,
Hmm.
this is not only restricted to today, as you know, amongst corporate nations are also having a slugfest in terms of saying, look, we want to become AI superpower. Uh, and when it comes to India, in terms of their own positioning around AI, and also then in terms of the role what you're playing at T Hub, Explain to us how this entire aspect of India one, really looking at AI in terms of solving large, complex, unresolved problems. And second, what is T Hub and your role pertains in terms of the overall mix of things? I know it's a late question, but it's all linked in terms of what you were trying to just
Sure,
elaborate
sure.
a moment back.
Right, right. See, in India, like everybody has realized it is not something that I will just predict or, I will say that people will understand what I'm saying today. Everybody has accepted, most of the key stakeholders have worked on it or were working on it to realize that India is having a huge potential in terms of AI. Because different government, different private stakeholders, government stakeholders, and everybody coming together to make India ready to be the AI capital or the place for the world. Because what has happened in the mid 90s or late 90s, the software boom or the outsourcing boom, what happened, because of which we have seen like all the IT companies India has produced in the services sector. Same thing is going to happen in within next 5 to 6 years in India in the field of AI. So definitely, without any doubt, India will become the largest exporter of AI services. That is one thing for sure, and that will be one evolution or improvisation of the current services industry infrastructure that we are already having, where we are the global leader. Second, coming back to for the Indian market also, because of the sheer volume in terms of the population and mass, we are much better placed compared to many of the people in terms of building the LLMs. Because in case of in many use cases we are seeing where to build or a train AI model, you need a lot of data. And most of the startups or companies which are working in the West, I'm seeing them for last couple of years, they're all coming to India to collect the data, to train
Right.
their models, right? And Indian startups are having this great advantage, or Indian innovators or corporates, they are having this great advantage that they are sitting in India. So if a model they are building for India and they can stabilize it, they can make it robust, it will create have a great impact across the world. So India will definitely may become not just the service provider but also the innovation ground, which will be a
Under
big
the
transition.
aegis of T Hub, explain how this role, what you're playing, Rahul,
Right.
is enabling AI
So
kind of really
that's
accelerate.
where I'm coming to. So, given and said that, we are also working in those lines. So, whatever I said right now, that whatever potential we are seeing. So, our job in T Hub is that the Center of Excellence came into existence by T Hub and DST's collaboration, because all the stakeholders understood that AI is potential and all this. What me and my team we are doing is that definitely we are providing the regular incubator services to all the startups who are coming, which is given that normally T Hub provides, but with a clear focus on AI. So you get mentors, investors, network, value partners, everything that is required to build a company, but more on the AI focus or deep tech focus. Apart from that, what we are also providing is more of a digital infrastructure. What I mean by this is that we have to build any AI product, you need compute. So we have come up with our own data center in our premises where we are providing GPUs at a much subsidized rates. So we have the A100s and those kind of GPUs with us, and that we are providing to the startups uh, the access to that. Second is we are also working towards skilling of the population, and that is starting from the college level. So we have launched our LMS where the courses are going live in terms of training them, teaching them on different AI technologies, latest developments of AI. So that is the skilling, because we do understand there is so much potential and job opportunity in AI, but today
Right.
that skill gap is still there. I have so many startups working with us, where every startup is crying for a good AI developer, right? They are all struggling to get a good prompt engineer, right? So these kind of issues are there. So that's where the skilling is a most important thing to be at that level. So that is the area we are working. We have also launched a job portal, which is AI focused job portal, where people are posting AI related jobs, and people are who are getting themselves trained or who are applying for jobs, they can go and apply for those jobs. And also then these are something like for the wider audience, but for the starters per se, to support them to build their platform, we are also providing them data or access to data. I will not say we are providing them data, but we are connecting them very quickly with the right resources or right data sources from where they can get the data to train their algorithm. We are providing them a customized platform on which they can train their algorithm very quickly, and they can come out with a meaningful outcome. We are also helping them with computing power, be it physical data center or the cloud computing credits that we are providing. So these are different mediums and means that we are providing, making AI solutions more affordable for the innovators to build in India for India. And that is our goal and mission at this point of time. And we are also industry agnostic. So we are supporting startups across the industry. The startups who are using AI and, Gen AI kind of features for legal. There are AI driven software, AI driven startups which are into medical, agri-tech, fintech, clean tech, sanitization, social ventures which are using AI for helping or creating an impact for the underserved at tier three or rural market. So these kind of different sectors we are catering to, and we are trying to come up with solutions and offerings so that these people who are building their startups around these sectors, they can benefit out of it.
I think that's an awesome initiative because what I recapitulate what you're trying to say is it's almost like creating an AI hub where all the necessary infrastructure, awareness, evangelization, and also support which is required for startups to kind of scale, evolve, and really go to the next level is available. And of course, the skilling part, the whole piece around kind of ensuring that the new age career opportunities in AI is well defined, well kind of curated, and even created from this kind of an initiative. Because this is where, Rahul, the aspect which I want your personal opinion, and I'm sure not only the audience would love to hear, but this is something which has been talked about very, very vocally, is this whole skilling part. And it's a very clear reflection. The job of today may not be the jobs of tomorrow, and
Right,
which is where
absolutely.
AI plays a role, maybe on the brighter side in terms of creation, and maybe on not so good side in terms of some displacement as well. Your point of view on the skilling career path from an AI perspective.
See, AI will bring definitely a lot of new jobs. That is for sure. So all put together, different new industry will come into picture. Huge amount of job opportunity will come across the industry. But given and said that, there are certain, I will say, like the regular, repetitive, or mundane jobs, which doesn't require very high skills. They will definitely get replaced. So, like the BPO industry is a great example where AI and a lot of automation has replaced people. And similar kind of, repetitive work that many places or many industries humans are doing. Those are the areas where there I definitely see that, there will be certain job losses. But given and said that, overall, I see that a different industry will grow, and where new set of jobs will come up. So that's why it's very important also, not for the college students, but people who are working in corporates also to upskill them
Hmm.
and make them ready for these new opportunities. Where they can embrace AI, they can embrace the newer technologies and make themselves ready for these things. Because one thing, see, I was just a couple of days back, I was in a discussion where we were with all the country heads of multiple GCCs, and we are discussing like how AI has impacted their working and how the software development jobs has been impacted. So there was a general consensus, and everyone agreed to this, that in a software life cycle, like a coder life cycle, there's something called a low code and then pro code, right? So there is this phases is there. So definitely things which doesn't require very high coding expertise, those jobs probably you can ask GPT or any of the tools in next 1 2 years. Many things will come like a low code or a no code kind of platform, which will give you some framework. But when you're solving any business problem, when you're thinking of a business problem and giving a holistic solution, then the pro coders are irreplaceable even today. So, and
Hmm.
everybody is of the same opinion that we don't know, maybe 5 years down the line or sooner or later, but still today AI is not there to replace the pro coders. or the people who are actually developing and solving the business problem. So there is still a lot of opportunities for the skilled people who understand the business, who
So
solve the
what you're
problem.
saying, they should not be afraid or get intimidated with Devon.
No, it is absolutely not. See, there is this thing that it's a new tool, so tools will keep changing. So it is just that you need to make yourself adapt with the new tool, learn the new tool and new technology, and make yourself ready. So what we study during our college, obviously, our after 5 years or 10 years, that was not the job we were doing. Right? We learned few things after getting into corporate life. Same thing will happen now also. So job wise, I don't see there will be a dearth of job, particularly in India. Indians should not be worried. If they're Indians are smart anyways, Indians are jugaru, so they should learn the new technologies and all these things, and there will be abundance. Jobs will be in abundance, I feel.
So essentially, what you're saying, the hustle amongst us will keep us alive and relevant, I guess, because
Yes,
that's something which is unique to us. Great,
yes,
great.
absolutely.
Rahul, some quick bites. I won't call it a rapid fire, but I would say quick bites, which I want to elicit with some of these, what I call, if not quirky, but more like I would say, uh, direct kind of a questions. Do you believe what is happening today in terms of Gen AI, it will sustain or it will fizzle out?
It will sustain and definitely go to the next level. So as I mentioned, like it will definitely sustain, and I'm excited to see the next outcome of it when
Just
Gen AI becomes
enumerate
part of life.
three new job opportunities which will emanate from Gen AI or AI.
See, something I can quickly say is that definitely prompt engineering is something right today probably what we see in this our ecosystem, that the maximum demanded job, and people are ready to pay anything for that. So prompt engineering is definitely my top pick. Second is like definitely people with very good understanding and who are, like I said, pro coders or AI developers with that kind of skill who can solve business problems. So understanding of AI is one thing, but domain understanding, industry understanding, real life scenario understanding, ability to analyze them and solve them. So these kind of pro coders will always be in demand. So will be the second thing. And third thing, obviously, like when we are talking about AI or anything, and it's a traditional one, it's the oldest one, and I still feel that this will still remain the same, is sales. So
Sales.
whatever we are going to do, like because we are going to build a lot of AI products, but end of the day, we still need to figure out how we monetize them, right?
True.
So monetization approach and strategy of all these AI products, AI solutions will still be very important, irrespective of the technological advancements that our developers are doing. So sales approach, how we monetize the solutions, will definitely be one of the topmost paid jobs and demand jobs, I will say.
So, other quick bite, which industry segment do you believe will get largely disrupted with AI and which business function with AI?
Industry, I will say definitely like health tech will see a major impact because of AI. Although it always health is always having healthcare is always having, it takes its own time and apprehension towards adopting new technologies and those things, but there will be a greater impact towards health. Job function, I say that the repetitive jobs or something like as I say that, like the entry level jobs which are low skilled jobs, they will definitely get impacted because of AI. But again, the jobs of like the data scientist, AI scientists, and those things, they will like flourish like anything.
If you have to pick up one particular area where India as a country needs to do more in terms of AI adoption or AI internalization, what that one particular area would be?
I think one area where India is working currently, and I feel that it will have the best impact, is commute. How we are commuting today in India, because India being such a large, diverse country with concentrated populations in different part of the country, uh, their AI will play a major role in terms of making the way we commute today. Do our transportation and we travel and we communicate, or we use the vehicles and all this thing. Their AI is going to play a major role. And that's where many of the things like I don't get into the details, but yeah, just commute will be one area where India will have the maximum impact, and I think that's the area we should work towards.
You've touched a raw and a very sore nerve, specifically for the ones like us who are from Bangalore. Commute. It gives us shivers whenever this particular word comes in. In the end, one last question, Rahul. How would you paraphrase yourself if ChatGPT has to mention Rahul Path as a leader?
ChatGPT. So I can just say that today I'm playing the role of more of an enabler and also doer. I'll not say just enabler, but a doer who is just trying to build the right infrastructure ecosystem so that in next 3 to 4 years, the big boom that we are anticipating that happens in a much more efficient and effective manner. So that is the role I'm trying to play today.
Rahul, I must say, having known you and having interacting with you over the last few months, what you rightly said is so resonating in terms of the role what you're playing, an enabler and a doer, because I interact with many leaders across different genres of industries and segments, and must say, what you're doing is very exemplary. This ability of one really dovetailing your professional experience with the path of creating a AI ecosystem itself is very, very, I would say, exemplary and applauding. More important, how to go about the path in terms of doing this, the whole strategic aspect, the whole piece of enabling and executing this is also quite, I would say, fascinating, because something which hasn't been done is what you're trying and kind of attempting to do. Wish you all the best with that, audience. I mean, this was something which we really wanted Rahul to come on. I mean, all these sessions of AI Makers Unpacked, as you could really understand, are never planned. It's more like a freewheeling conversation. But with that, the whole attempt from our side is to really unpeel what I call the real you. And Rahul, you really kind of stood out in terms of really exploring yourself and giving something what I call the nuggets of experience to our 34,000 members and 950 leaders, because we believe, I think, in AI or Gen AI, we're all learning, and that learning continues. In fact, there is a new path with Gen AI which has come in, that learn more. And with that, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate,
Thank
Rahul,
you.
and all the best in your future endeavors.
Thank you. Thanks, Samir. Thanks for having me, and look forward to work closely with 3i and with your team.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Thanks, Rahul.
Thank you.